What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so I told you guys that I'm not really going to talk politics anymore on YouTube to that degree, but there are going to be some times where I'm going to have to kind of break that rule to an extent. Um, so look, I'm just going to kind of speak in general about what's been going on over the past several weeks. We all know what happened in Utah to Charlie Kirk. And that event, of course, led to a series of actions and reactions that have been very controversial on both sides. Okay. In recent days, the biggest reaction has been the cancellation of a long-running show, the Jimmy Kimmel Show. I think he's been on the air for 15 years now. I mean, he's been on the air for quite some time. But anyway, he made a joke that many people found offensive. All right. Some others felt that while the joke could have been offensive to some, there have been comedians that have said just as much, if not worse. And they believe that people should be protected to a certain degree by freedom of speech. Look, that issue is another issue, video for another day as far as how you feel about all that. Whatever the case may be, Jimmy Kimmel was canceled after over 400 A-list celebrities came to his defense, complained to Disney, who owns ABC, about the cancellation of that show. And I think this also hurt Disney stock falling $4 to $5 billion in wealth and worth, I should say, in value. Jimmy Kimmel Show came back on the air to record ratings, and he did not seem to most of us, back down from that earlier stance. Now this segues into Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith, to me, is a grifter. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I know other people have said this too. Genius Pro comes to mind. He is a grifter. He professes to be a guy who stands in the middle or tries to be fair, is not affiliated with both parties. But in reality, to me, this is a guy that sits on the fence and plays both sides. Okay? And he doesn't even do it from a strategic standpoint of trying to, have both sides play against each other. He does it for his own personal self-interest, usually financially. So now let's talk about his take on the whole Jimmy Kimmel situation. Listen to this.
For certain severe critics of him, the man is coming. He's not playing around. He's unapologetic about the retribution he's willing to exact against anybody he deems harmful to his ego, his psyche, his presidency, in his own way that he may choose to materialize it.
But what does that mean then? Hold on. I want you to, but you said know this and operate accordingly. Describe though, because when you say operate accordingly, you can on the one hand know this and the response can be, and I'm not going to lay down and take it. I'm not going to stand aside and allow and acquiesce. The other side is move accordingly, sort of under the radar in some way. How are you defining operate accordingly? Because I know from just hearing you and following your whole career, you are somebody who's been unapologetic about speaking your mind, having even unpopular opinions, and not pulling any punches. So is this different than that?
That's true. Yeah, because I'm fair and balanced. I'm not one-sided, and I'm not directing my eye at one individual consistently since 2015. That's not the kind of behavior I choose to engage in. Even people that I don't like, that I've been on the record stating I don't like, I still remain fair and balanced. When they deserve to be complimented, I say so. I don't avoid complimenting them just because I may not like them. And when they deserve to be criticized, I don't hesitate to do so.
Well, to that I say with Stephen A. Smith, okay, where was this fair and balance when it comes to O.J. Simpson? Because he was acquitted by a jury of his peers, but you have said all the way up until his dying day that he was a no good bastard who was guilty. I don't care what the jury said. Where's that fair and balance with that? You seem to only show that fair and balance, uh, that fair and balanced facade when it comes to certain people, and that's the people who you rub shoulders with, the people who you say that are your bosses, and you just want the crumbs from them. You know, those people. That just seems to be what it's about. And you might have heard somebody in the background telling Stephen A. Smith to shut up. There was somebody here, and I agree with that 100%. This guy is worse. Let me say this, man. I know a lot of you all know that I'm not a huge fan at all of Jason Whitlock, right? Stephen A. Smith is worse than Jason Whitlock. He's worse because Jason Whitlock at least lets you know what he is, what he's all about. There's no mystique. There's no trickery involved. He ain't trying to pretend to be down for the cause, wearing cross colors on network television, thinking he fooling people, or just because he speak a certain way, you know, he thinks that he can fool people. I know a jig when I see one. And Stephen A. Smith is more dangerous than Jason Whitlock. He's more dangerous because he's that guy. He's a chameleon. He can go into different circles and look around and pretend to be what he thinks you want him to be or what you want him to hear, and ultimately work against the groups or your self-interest and stab you in the back. He's that type of dude. If you don't believe me, look at the carnage that's going on ESPN now. Look at the bodies in the wake. Look at the Shannon Sharps. I know some of that's self-inflicted by Shannon Sharp, obviously. Michael Irvin, Molly Curran. Look at all these people who work with this guy, Max Kellerman, Skip Bayless. All these people who work with him who all of a sudden are no longer with the network. Marcellus Wiley. All these people can't be wrong. All of them? If you listen to Stephen A. Smith, essentially what he said is, you better be careful and tread lightly because Massa Trump ain't playing no games. That's basically what he said. This is a dude that wants to run for president of the United States? Seriously? You want to run for president of the United States with that house nigga mentality? Y'all seriously want to consider voting for this clown? I'm sorry, man. I just come from a different generation. I come from a generation, even with all these people who y'all love to say was singing in the church and the civil rights movement people and all that, right? These people had more courage in their pinky finger. They had more heart in one strand of heart muscle than 10 Stephen A. Smiths would ever have put together. I listened to and have, could you imagine a Dr. King or a Medgar Evers or a Fred Hampton or a Malcolm X or Shirley Chisholm talking like that? Could you imagine a Rosa Parks uttering some crap like that out of her mouth? Oh, if he was Rosa Parks, he would have got up. He would have got his black ass up and went to the back and justified it. This ain't about left or right or being fair. At this point, this is an administration that is doing what the last administration attempted to do, but even more so. This administration wants to crack down on freedom of speech. Now, I got on Biden the other day because that administration definitely did try to crack down on freedom of speech, especially on social media when it came to a lot of things. So they're not innocent either. But my God, you're not going to sit up here and intimidate me into not speaking my mouth, speaking my mind and keep my mouth closed about what's going on right now in this country. There's no way in hell, fuck this channel if it comes to be. There's no fucking way that these types of dudes can speak their mind, these jigs, but I have to be totally quiet because my opinion isn't popular with the majority. To hell with y'all, if that's where it comes to. To hell with what this race has become if y'all don't have my back on this. If you rather deal and have the back of these type of charlatans who only have the interests of the majority and will sell this race down the fucking down the river, then you deserve everything you getting right now. Everything you getting. Because you don't deserve to have your damn rights. Did you know that there's a lot of evidence to suggest that the experts, the so-called experts, revised the death toll from Katrina down to fit the 3/5 equation? Did you know that? Like I said before, this guy wants to run for president, but he couldn't even stand up to LeBron James. This guy right now is the biggest fraud going. And he's totally sold out. He has sold his maidenly virtue to conservatives. He ain't, don't stop lying and saying you're down the middle. You're not. You have sold your maidenly virtue, like Keith Overman said. You sold it to the right. That's all I got to say about it.